You are tuned to ARP on the Accelerated Radio Network. It's 12 noon, and it's time to have lunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Bringing money talk you can understand. And now here's your host, Miss Charline.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our show. This is Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and I'm Miss Charline. And how's everybody doing? Hello.
Wonderful.
Doing wonderful.
How you doing, Elizabeth?
I'm doing good.
Now, before we started this tape, you were laughing. I want to know why.
Because I just know that my sisters are in the other room and
They're listening?
I'm just waiting for them to say something.
Okay,
That's
today's
genuinely why.
right. Okay, so today's show is about fun ways of saving money, because saving money is
It's
not
just so fun.
I know it's not usually fun though. So we have to figure out ways that people won't feel bad about saving. We have to make it positive.
Yeah, maybe this episode should be called Ways to Trick Yourself into Saving Money.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go
Right?
with that.
I don't know.
Whatever works. I think
Like
that
that's
rollerblading
essentially
while
what we're
saving
doing.
money. It's just so fun.
That's essentially what we're doing. We're
Exactly,
we're tricking
trying to
ourselves. We're
create-
conning it's called the long con.
Yeah.
Conning yourself into having a healthy savings account.
There you go. You know what I thought about last night? I was thinking about all the ways you can seriously save money. And a lot of things that we do that we really think we need that we really don't. And so now I'm stuck on cable. I've been on this coffee thing, but now I'm stuck on cable. So here we go.
Okay.
So if you spend like $100 a month on cable, how often do you really watch it? Seriously. Like, how often are you sitting in front of the television watching the cable stations? And if you do have enough time to sit that long and watch cable television, right, you could take that $100 and put it towards starting some sort of business, or put it towards like saving so you could take a trip, because $100 in 12 months is $1,200, and you could take a trip with that money. You could go somewhere, like someplace nice, right? So are you going to sit and be entertained by someone who really that $100 a month is contributing to their vacation, right? Or to their livelihood and taking away from your own? So, and that's kind of, to me, being entertained, spending money for entertainment that you could better use by focusing it somewhere else, like a vacation that's totally about you. That's what I thought of last night.
Well,
what do you think
or
about
like
that?
I think that's amazing, because I love traveling, as you both know, and
Right.
I would very much so rather
waiting
take
for
a
that.
trip than spend $100 a month on cable when
Right.
there's no you don't look back and be like, that one show I remember watching on cable, that was good memories. It's the trips and the
Right.
and the significant things that you do. But
Right.
another thing that you kind of touched on just now is starting a business, and this is something that I'm sure we'll talk about later in the episode.
Right.
But there's plenty of network marketing opportunities
That
that
you could
cost
start.
less than that a month.
Right.
And a lot of times I think cable is a way, not just entertainment, but a way to just occupy yourself so you're not bored.
Yes,
And
I believe that.
why not make money instead of just sit there and
Be bored. Now, I'm not saying that about people who, sometimes there are people who their health is challenged, or something like that, and that's
Sure.
their form of entertainment. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about able-bodied person who is thinking, what am I going to do to create extra income? What am I going to do to make my life easier? I wish I could take a trip and go somewhere. That $100 a month would give you the ability to do that. 1 year later, and a year goes by quickly, right?
Yeah.
So 1 year later, you would have $1,200 and
good
be able
chunk
to
of
take,
change.
that's a good chunk of change. And to be able to take a trip or buy yourself something really nice, just treat yourself to something really nice, because that's a big, when you think about it, in the scheme of things, that's a lot of money, $100, to just give to the cable company and, for moments of, instant gratification, just fleeting moments, right? When you could take that $1,200 and do something really good with it, like go on a trip.
yeah. And
like
we've
that
talked about
idea.
this before. There's other options too, like Netflix or Hulu Plus.
Right.
That there's plenty of shows and things. Like if you
To
just
keep
need
you
something on in the
occupied.
background, like I do.
Right.
I have Netflix and I spend $8 a month instead
Right.
of $100.
Both of those
100
combined
a month,
is
right.
18. Both of those combined is $16. And you have way too many shows that you're never going to finish.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you really need every single option that's out there.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then at that point, you're saving $84 a month.
That's right. So even at $84 a month, you're saving enough to take a vacation.
Yeah.
Right? I like that idea, and I'm going to do it.
And for me, first of all, just this is a side note, I always like watching episodes back to back, and I hate like having to wait a whole week.
That's true.
But then again, I don't know if that says anything good about me that I just like sitting and watching episode after episode. But at least
But-
I'm only doing it for $8.
Right. $8. Not only that, but you're actually taking control of your time.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can do it on an afternoon while you're cleaning, or an
Yeah.
afternoon like if you're cooking a meal, or that day when everyone does their chores at home. You can take that time, watch your favorite shows back to back, get it all in, right?
Yeah.
And save $84 minimum a month. Because, some people pay a lot more than that
Yeah, for special packages.
for special
or-
packages
yeah.
and all of that. So I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of last night. Someplace else I can save and take a trip with that money.
Yeah.
So you don't have to necessarily save just for saving's sake. I mean, that's a good thing too for emergencies, but sometimes you should save so you can treat yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that.
It'll
idea.
And make it a fun project, like our friend Ari Gold, that has been on the
Right.
show several times, talked about. There you have the ability with most banks now to do, and I actually started doing it because Ari told us this, but to create sub accounts
Right.
in your savings accounts, and you can label them different things. So if you want to go to Thailand and go to the world's best spas, like I do,
So-
then you label a savings account Thailand.
So
And-
did you label it Thailand, or did you label it World's Best Spas in Thailand? Because that's a long title.
It is a long title. I just labeled it Thailand.
Okay.
Just for the sake of brevity. Isn't that a word, brevity?
I don't know, but you used it.
It's a
so
word
we'll
now
take it.
because I used it.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I just labeled it Thailand, and so now I know that money that is going into that account is going towards something that I really, really want, rather
Right.
than just savings.
Right.
Boring.
Yeah. And I think
Boring.
it was something else she said that stuck with me is that, using cash instead of, using your credit card or using your debit card or writing checks, if you use cash when you buy things, that will help you save money too. That's what helped me. I started using cash instead of just, running my debit card or putting on a credit card. And then when the bills come, you write a check. Your money is automatically deposited into your account. So you really don't have you don't feel like it's a tangible,
Yeah.
it's not currency anymore.
Uh-huh.
It's now just this abyss, where you have this amount of money out there and you can spend it how you want. And because you're not tied to it for in currency form, it's easier to spend.
Yeah.
But when you're taking that $100 or $200 or $50 and you're buying that item, it's different when you're taking the money out of your wallet and putting it on the counter for someone to take from you, because you think about how many hours it took that you worked to get to that amount of money. It makes you think about it more. At least it made me think about it
Yeah.
more. So I think just taking the time, take a few extra moments. And if you're going to go shopping, set a budget and just take out that amount of money and go to the store. And you'll be surprised how much money you don't spend because you actually see the money leaving your hands and going into that person's hands. Even though you're getting an item for it, I think it causes you to spend less. At least it does that for me.
Yeah, well, and she talked about it, and it's not like it's that much of a time difference.
Right.
But that little bit of time does make a difference. I know I can say that for myself too, that counting out the 20s to spend, on a $200 item is a lot more time consuming, and it's a lot more time consuming than just swiping a card.
Right. Exactly. But you get it because you understand that you've worked how many hours to get to $200
Yes.
after taxes.
All I think about is I don't make the highest of income right now, and it's hourly, but soon it won't be, and I'll be making more. But right now I make $11 an hour, to be perfectly frank to the audience. And thinking of physically giving $200, I'm like, wow, that's me working 20 hours of my life.
Right.
Is this really that important? Like, when I thought of getting my paycheck, did I think that, okay, so I've got 10 hours in towards this purchase? Like, is that something I really want to do? When you were talking about cable,
Right.
working 10 hours to then spend 10 hours watching TV, is it like really, it doesn't pay off
It
right
does
now?
not pay off.
No.
Yeah. And it never does. It's just that we are conditioned to not think about it.
Yeah, you're separate
Right?
from that
Well, it doesn't
moment.
matter if you work. If you get paid $100 an hour, that's still an hour of your time.
Yes.
And if you're getting paid $100 an hour, then you probably spent a lot of time training and being qualified to be able to make that much.
Right.
So all that time that you put in to be able to have the ability of making $100 an hour, you just wasted an hour of your time for cable
Exactly.
that you probably don't watch.
That you don't watch, because usually people who are at that income level don't have a lot of time. And so they're not spending a lot of time watching television.
Yeah.
So it's really, we're just paying for something in a lot of cases that we don't really even use that much. And the only way it's going to be a savings, so that it's the only way it's going to be a fun savings is if you're saving it to do something fun.
Yes.
Right? Because we've beat the, save for, your
Emergency
future,
fund.
save for emergencies. We've talked about that over and over again. So we want to save for something fun now,
Yeah.
like shoes and purses and vacations
And spas.
and
I won't deny
spas.
that.
Right? So why don't we take the money that we have available and just redirect it
Yeah.
to make it fun?
To more memorable experiences and things that are going to enrich your life rather than things that are just going to be placeholders.
Exactly. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, what about, you said something about going to the grocery store. When you go to the grocery store,
Yes.
What day should you shop on? Wednesday?
Wednesdays, I think
Yes.
it typically is. And
That was a tip for...
That was one of the things that was on your social media, actually.
Exactly.
So first of all, for any viewers or for any of our audience members that don't already know, Charline posts every Saturday
Right.
fun ways to save money.
Yes.
So this is kind of highlighting that this episode
Exactly.
is. So one of the things that you posted was to grocery shop on Wednesdays, and that was something that we talked about.
Right.
So most grocery stores have like a kind of an overlap day, and it's usually Wednesdays, where if you go in, you have the ability to get deals from the week before and the week after.
Right.
Because that's the point where they're restocking, I guess, or something. I don't know. I'm not a grocery store expert, so I don't know. But for some reason, it's that day.
He's decided so.
You never know. One day I might be a grocery store expert. But
Your resume keeps expanding.
I know.
But yeah, if you go in on Wednesdays, you have the ability to get those deals from the week before and the week after.
Right.
But you want to make sure and go in kind of knowing, and it's really easy. There's different apps that you can check to see what stores have different deals, or you can just go to their website
Right.
and see. And I mean, really, all you have to do is just kind of be aware of what deals they have going, and go to the grocery store that has the deals you want.
Yeah. Now, the other thing about going to the grocery store is don't go hungry.
Yes.
Please eat before you go to the grocery store, because if
I was thinking that.
Because if you
this
don't,
week, yeah.
you will buy things that you will never eat, never use, never cook. Right? You'll totally waste money, because I've done that. I've gone to the grocery store, been hungry, and lied to myself and said, you're going to cook this meal and it's just going to be wonderful. And I have this meal planned out in my head, and I run around the store, spending more time in the grocery store than I had anticipated. And I'm getting all this stuff that I'm never going to use. It's going to go stale, bad, spoiled,
Right?
freezer burn.
You over purchase. Yeah.
Yeah.